Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Stamping with Janice and Carolyn. I can't believe we're at number 6 already, Janice.
I know, when I saw 6 today, I was like, 6 already? Finally got the video figured out.
We think, we hope, and pray.
That's right.
Yeah, it's been a steep learning curve, but we are getting there, I think.
At least we're doing
Hopefully,
it, right?
yeah. So hopefully everyone can see both of us interacting and talking. We had to change a few settings, but I think we're there. We had to learn about waiting rooms for our desktops, but I think we're there. So welcome, and Janice has to get going soon to pick up her son from school. So we're going to get started. On Carolyn with Stamping.Cards. We're both Canadian demonstrators. So welcome to our separate YouTube channels, but we're doing these videos jointly so that we can share our love of stamping and crafting with all of you. And if you are looking for a Canadian demonstrator, you can pick either one of us to either join our team or order from. We're fine with either one of us. And Janice, you're in Acton, Ontario.
I am, yep. JT Stamps online, Facebook mostly. We are uploading to YouTube and we share the link on our Facebook groups as well. So anybody in the area, I do have in-person classes if anyone's interested. The next one will be sometime in January. So just reach out, get in touch. And I hope you enjoy our video.
And I'm out of the country right now, so I mostly do Facebook feeds and live feeds, and I'm still stamping all the way over here in Germany. So all right, so let's get started. It's going to take a little second to transition. I'm going to let myself in, make sure everything is set up okay. Let's see, this meeting being recorded. I got it. Make sure the orientation is right. I had to take that out of my holder for a second. Everybody, here you go. Sorry for that little joyride. And now I'm going to spotlight this for everyone so we can have a bigger view. Okay, so we were going to use the specialty vellum, snowflake vellum paper, and it's discontinued, no longer available. So remember that a lot of our items these days are get them while you can, because they will turn off ordering ability when they go out of service. So I'm going to come into my annual catalog and show you a few products that I used on my card today. Adhesives are all important when you are making cards. So I always like to point out the ones that I use. I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals. And when you look at the Stampin' Dimensionals, it shows 3 different versions. Come down here, you'll see 1, 2, and 3. I'm actually using number 2, the mini Stampin' Dimensionals today, mostly I think. And number 6 is key. It is our adhesive sheets, and adhesive sheets are amazing for working with vellum. It gives you a full coverage of adhesive, because if you use dots of glue, you have to hide it. But if you put on a full sheet of adhesive, then it all becomes kind of uniform. And so you don't really see the glue anymore. And then I'm using glue dots and of course Tombow multi-purpose glue as well. And then I highlighted some paper that we're going to use. I'm going to use is the vellum cardstock, and it's on the Wrap It Up page, which is on page 140. And this vellum is so thick and beautiful. It's actually a cardstock, not a paper, that you can emboss it with our embossing folders. Before I take that away, I'll show you the embossing folder that I'm going to use. So it's the Wintry 3D, and you have a snowflake one or a pine kind of spruce bough one as well. And those will go through our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. All right, and here's our Wintry 3D folder. Let me see if I put it there behind the balmy blue. You can see how pretty that folder is with all the snowflakes that you'll emboss. When you emboss on the cardstock, these become like a little extra crispy white. So it's really kind of a cool technique to emboss the vellum.
I really like that.
What's that?
I really like that folder.
Yeah, I do too. It's pretty. So I'm going to use a card base of balmy blue, and it's going to be 4 1/4 by 11, and I score it right in the middle at the 5.5 mark. Got lots of pieces in here, you guys. But I'll just show you, that's the card base. So 11 by 5, sorry, 11 by 4 1/4, score at 5 1/2. So you get a quarter sheet size card. And then the vellum cardstock, you're going to cut a piece that is 4 by 5 1/4. The adhesive sheet, let me see where mine is. I just cut it down to the same size as the vellum, and it's going to be 4 by 5 1/4 as well. And then I use some silver foil on my card, and I have 2 basic white cardstock pieces that are 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to back my vellum, and then 1 piece is going to be for the interior, my card liner. And then you're going to want some pieces of balmy blue, basic white, and for your die cuts. And I did a lot of die cutting prior to the class. I am using the framed florets stamp set, as well as the framed floret dies. Now, these are an early release, and you can purchase them now as a customer. Sorry, I was looking to the side to see where my other next catalog is. But these are all available in the next catalog that's coming up, and that starts in January. I have my German version here, my mini catalog. But they are in here for purchase in your English catalogs that you'll be getting in the mail from us shortly. But you can also order them right now. It's an early release. So these are available on our website. So when you want to shop with us, go ahead. The framed florets and have the stamp set and the dies have the same name. So really pretty set. I'll show you the dies that I used for this particular card that I'm making. I did a whole bunch of cards the other day with this set, Janice, and I die cut a whole lot of things before. Oh, so I've got a container of things ready to go. That's kind of cool. So I used this die. It makes a frame in balmy blue, and I'm going to use this piece. So I ran that through my Stampin' Cut and emboss machine prior to the class. So I'm going to put that over to the side. And then I've got one of these in Whisper White and one in silver. I'm going to use 2 of those on my card. So that's this piece here, this die cut. The die for these die cuts. And then I use both of these leaves. And I think I have 1 blue and 2 white. Let me see all my pieces here. Yeah. So those are the how many is that? 5, 6 pieces, die cut pieces that I'm going to use on my card. So I'll put those over there on top of my stamp set. So I won't lose them. And then I have some flowers. I think I will only use 1 and maybe the small one, but I brought some over anyway. So I can show you a couple of different ways to color those, either with the blends or with Balmy Blue re-inker and the Wink of Stella. It's one of my favorite ways to do it. And then I've got a couple of extra pieces if you want to stamp more flowers for the white, but then I've got a piece that is 3/4 inches by about 4, but I might trim that down, and that's going to be for the sentiment. Okay, so I used my Wintry 3D embossing folder. Let me see if I can set it up the way. Anyway, I ran it through a couple of times because you can see that my paper, my vellum, is wider than the embossing folder. So I did run it through a couple of times. I can't even see how it lines up now. My goodness. Turned upside down. Nope. Oh yeah, like that. So, so if you lay it in like that, it will line up with the images. Here we go. So I ran it through twice. So you do need a bigger Stampin' Cut and emboss machine to make that work. Okay, so I'm going to move that off to the side. You've seen those dies. Love these dies. Then I'm going to bring in my adhesive sheet that's been cut down and my piece of vellum. Now, some of the snowflakes come up through the back and some go through the front. And that's just the way it is. Gotta deal with it. So what I'm gonna do is peel off, and it's okay if these overlap, but I'm going to find, okay, so I'm gonna peel it off. The sticky is on that side. Try not to touch it very much until you rub it onto your paper. And then you really wanna give it a good burnish, rub it all over. I'm gonna try to get some of that ink or the adhesive off my fingers. And then if you've rubbed it on enough, it's gonna stick to your vellum. You're gonna peel that off. And then I'm gonna take the next piece. And you're gonna look to see where that adhesive kind of ends and try and start just overlapping a little bit. You don't want to leave much room between, because then you can see where your adhesive is. But if you overlap it, the adhesive kind of is lost. Or you can also put that on the white cardstock if you didn't want to work on the vellum first. And one more piece. We'll find where that kind of ended. And then put it on. And rub it on. And then we're going to peel off the backing. And then the tricky part is lining it up with your liner. So let's see if I can do it. That side looks okay. And I'm just gonna bring it down. Oh, there's my finger. It's got stuck in. I'll try and lift that up, take that glob out. That won't look very nice, will it? Okay, so that's it. So now you've got your embossed piece, which is vellum. On some cards, you can still do this and put it directly with the adhesive onto the card, but I just wanted the card to be a little bit more white. I'll show you a card where I just put the vellum directly onto the card base so you can see more of the balmy blue through. And I just thought, oh, I'm just going to change it up a little bit for the card that we're going to make today. All right, so I like that kind of frosted look, and you could just emboss your card, your white cardstock if you wanted to, but I still like the frosted look that gave the card. I'm not putting any ribbon on the front part, so I can go ahead and put this onto my card base with Tombow and I'll line it up, make sure it's straight. It's a little bit smaller, so you do have that border around the edge. And there we go. So that's going to be your card base. See, love that. And then we're going to decorate it. I'm going to bring in my little oval frame and use these mini glue dots to pop that up. I'm not putting anything in the middle of this frame because I really wanted the embossing folder to really be the highlight of the card. You could also use those strips that you highlighted. What are those called, Janice? You used them on a card a little while ago.
Oh yeah, the foam adhesive strips.
Yes, so you could also use that because they will bend to go around.
That's a good idea.
Right?
Yes.
And that'll work too. But I thought, oh, I've got lots of these mini Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'll use that. So I've got all the backings off. Now I'm just going to kind of put that in the center. Take that stuck to my finger. There. And I'm just going to lightly press it on and look to see if I like where it's centered. And I think I do. So now I'll press it more firmly and keep it going. All right. So now I just get to decorate. So I'm going to pull in my glue dots, handy dandy glue dots. I'm also keeping my mini dimensionals close by as well. I did do a silver and a white, and I'm just going to, at this spot down here where they're kind of thick, that's where I'm going to put a glue dot to join those together, because I just want the silver to be a little accent behind the white one. So I've picked that up, pressed onto the glue dot, and then just going to offset them just a tiny little bit. And then there's another bigger place up there where I'll put another glue dot. I'm seeing too many glue dots. There we go. So I'll hold that in place, kind of press it on there. If I see too much of that glue dot, I might bend it backwards. And then, so that's how I want that to look on my, as an embellishment on the side. And I'll just peel it back, show 2 more glue dots. I love glue dots because you don't need to wait for them to dry. You just like press it on where you want it and you're all set to go. So there, that's what I'm going to do with that piece. That's garbage. So I'll put that over there. Now I was going to say I lost my leaves, but I found them. They were exactly where I put them. So the same thing. I think I'm going to kind of bring these down. I'm going to have 2 white and then maybe a little blue one kind of off to the side. So see how I'm setting that up? Maybe I'll bring that up a little bit higher, let it focus so you can see. There. Do it like that, you can see. So I'm going to use more glue dots, but I might use my pick tool to pick them up and place them where I want them now, because now you want to be a little more precise. And I just need 1, I think, for the first layers, and then I'll come in and pick that up and roll it in. I don't know if you can see that it's a bit wider than that where it's on the stem. And then place that one there. You can spread them out a little bit. And I don't mind that the glue dot is showing right now because I am going to cover that up with either a big flower or a small flower. I think maybe the small flower might be better. What do you think, Janice? Smaller one?
Yes, let's see the big again.
The big is almost too big, I think.
Yeah, I like the small one better, yeah.
Okay, so we'll go with the smaller one. And it's not colored, so we have to color it. And of course we have the matching Balmy Blue blends. And I'm just gonna color the whole thing with the light blue. Just do a quick color. And then I usually put a little extra in the middle. I'm gonna come in with the smaller tip of the dark Balmy Blue. And I'm just doing some strokes kind of in the center and along those little marks that are already there on the petal. Because the stamp has already kind of shown you where it's going to be a bit darker. And that's it. I've colored that. Let me hold it up for you. So we've got some dimension and some depth in the center there. And to make it pop a little bit, I'm going to use a mini Stampin' Dimensional. And then let's see how that should sit. Maybe like that. Sit on there. And of course, we need a little bling. What size? Maybe one of the medium size. Fit nicely in the center of that flower. Whoops, it moved. I wonder, is it dry? Is it too wet? Stuck that time. Oh, and you can also put some of the smaller ones on those little round areas on the cards. If you want more bling, you can put more rhinestones. So I'll just see how the rest of my card comes together because I don't have my sentiment on there yet. So my card is almost done, but I'm going to put a sentiment across here. Make sure that's going to look okay because I changed up my sentiment a little bit and made it a bit bigger. And of course, I will be heat embossing. So I'm going to use my handy dandy embossing buddy. This time I'm going to use a white embossing powder. Got my Versamark ready to go. Remember the sticky and clear. So when you stamp, you may not be able to see it, but I am certainly going to try to make that as straight as I can. And this is a nice sentiment. It says, just a little reminder that you are loved. This time of year can be a little difficult, right? Some people are stressed. So let's just spread some kindness, be kind to everyone. Oh, and I'm totally off. Totally off camera for that one. So I've stamped. Let's see if you can see it. There we go. And it's just powder right now, and the powder has stuck to the Versamark ink that we stamped on there. I keep my embossing powders in a tub just for convenience sake. And I sprinkled it on and shook it off. And now I'm going to put all that away before I pull in my heat gun. So you need a heat gun when you are embossing. And I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to pick this up, and then I'm going to watch it closely. I really do lean over it so I can see when it actually starts to melt. It turns shiny and loses kind of that grainy appearance that you can see when it is still a powder. And then you just move slowly across. I think I need another touch on this. It just looks a little grainy to me. And I think that's it. So that's going to be our sentiment. Just a little reminder that you are loved. Can I hold that so you can see it? There. And, whoops, I'm going to bring this in. It's going to tuck underneath all of that and just hang out on this side. So I'm going to trim it down a little bit. Make sure it's a little straighter. And then just going to give it a little flag. So you cut a little in the middle, and then from each corner, you're going to cut into the end of that cut. And that should give you even flags. There we go. And then to tuck that in and adhere it, I'm going to use those mini glue dots again, because that will even everything up. So I want to make sure there's nothing. I won't put glue dots where it covers over the frame, because then it's going to look too bumpy. So I just want to make sure I know where that is. And I'll put some glue, sorry, Stampin' Dimensionals on the other side. And one or two more. I love these Stampin' Dimensionals because you know it's not going to add a lot of extra weight to your card because they're so tiny. So don't be scared of using as many as you like. I'm going to come in as close as I can to that frame and really want to make sure it's looking straight. So there we go. Move that around. So I love the front of this card, and I would probably add a few more rhinestones, maybe just to the center of some of those snowflakes. So there's no reason why you can't put snowflakes on a card that says you care about someone, right?
That's right. If you're giving it to the winter.
That's right.
Might look a little funny in the summer, but.
It might. So yeah, you got to make sure you use it in the winter months.
That's right.
And I'm going to go ahead and stamp another sentiment on the inside. And I'm going to use Night of Navy for that. If I've made a balmy blue card, I will often stamp in like a blue tone that's just a little bit darker. And so it says, for a special person on a special day. And let's see. And this is a photopolymer stamp set. So you want to make sure you're using your Stampin' Pierce pad. So you have that little extra cushion. Pop it on. And you could put some more flowers on there as well. Maybe that's where I'll use one of the big ones. So I'll give it a quick color. I'll use my bigger end. So it's a fast color. And then I'll be able to glue this on the inside of the card. So that's a light balmy blue. Here's the dark balmy blue. Just don't move that around too much. And I'm just giving a little extra on the edges where you see they've turned over. And you can choose to have that light or dark. I'm just going to add some dark. I'm going to move that off my card base too, just in case something seeps through. And I think that is ready to go on. One more little color around the center. So I'm excited, everyone, and we're getting company for Christmas tomorrow. And we're going to see my parents, whom we haven't seen since January 2020. So it's been a while.
So exciting. Almost 3 years, eh?
Almost 3 years. Crazy. Stupid COVID.
I know, eh?
Yeah.
Well, that's great that they'll be there to spend Christmas with you.
Yeah, we're very excited. We're going to Frankfurt tomorrow to pick them up.
No.
If all goes well. So pray all their flights are on time.
The weather's good.
Fine. Yeah, the weather's been great. Like typical Germany weather this time of year. We don't get a lot of sunshine. Just kind of dull and gray, and it's usually like right around 1, maybe like, I think it got to -2 the other day.
Oh yeah.
But that's overnight, and then it kind of warms up in the day again.
Yeah.
So there you have it. There's my card.
Beautiful. I like it.
Good lighting on. I don't know.
Very nice.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to close out my ink pad. You know what happens, right?
Okay. Done it before.
So I'm going to remove spotlight. We should see both of us. And then I'm going to make sure you get to come in, Janice, first.
Be in.
Are you in?
I think so.
Okay. Is your video on?
Yeah,
it might have shut.
I think oh crap. Hold on.
Okay. It's all right. That's okay. Like I said, this is going to be a learning curve. We've done something different.
Yeah. I had to click. Got it. And it threw it off.
Okay. That's perfect. So
I
I will.
Angle. Is that okay?
That's great. And
all right.
Let me see. Can I spotlight you? There's a question. Big spotlight for everyone. There we go. Had to click something different, not just the dots. Oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah, we use the same colors. We must have been thinking on the same story.
Oh, that's your alarm. Go get Ryan.
Yeah. We must have been thinking on the same wavelength with the blue, but I use the Tahitian tie. So.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, I don't know, something about blue and snowflakes that I like together.
For sure.
So I do still have some of this vellum left, as Carolyn said. Unfortunately, it's out of stock now, or sold out, I guess, because it was just for the catalog. So you can definitely do this with the embossing folder, as Carolyn just illustrated. I cut a piece of both for my card that we're going to make today. So, and I did, if you can see, I use a Type Worn Time, is it called? Embossing folder on the background there.
I love that.
Yeah, just because I wanted a little bit extra because I had a wider background. So I have pre-embossed that. I'll just move this to the side here on my cardstock. So my base is 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And then embossed with that, Time Worn type. Here it is for anyone who wants to. And it's been around a while, but I didn't have it before. And I only ordered it a couple months ago. I really like it for a nice subtle effect on the background. So then I used, and I've embossed this just to check, but I used a strip of silver, the silver foil paper. And we have the pack, I think Carolyn showed it last week, with the 3 different shading ones. And this is 3 3/8. This is not. This piece is 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. And then just a tiny bit smaller for the vellum. So at 3 1/4 and 4 1/2 is this piece of vellum. So on my original card here, I layered this over the silver. And I wasn't as smart as Carolyn. I didn't use the adhesive paper. So I was putting glue dots behind the little spots.
But that works too.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. That's what you have.
Snowflake vellum. And it didn't really show up as much as I wanted on the silver. But you still have the silver outline to see. So then I thought, how about if I emboss the silver? Yeah, I thought that looked really pretty.
That's amazing.
So
that's gorgeous.
The silver embossed and skip the vellum on that piece. But you could certainly do it either way, because I think this looks good too with the vellum embossed. And I also thought maybe just the vellum on the blue, which also looks very pretty.
They're all different, but they're all pretty.
Yeah, you just don't have the silver outline then when you do it. So it gives you lots of options to do it. I think this one, just for something different, I'm going to use the foil embossed. And then I have a piece for the inside, which is 4 by 5 1/4. And a strip of 3/4, sorry, I'm out of the picture here. A strip of 3/4 for my greeting here, the Merry Christmas. And I had originally, you can see under this, I had put a little piece of ribbon all the way around, not realizing it was going to be so long, so it kind of covers it up. So instead, I added a bow so you could see it. So I'm not going to bother wrapping it around this time. I'm just going to put the bow there to highlight it. So with this piece, when I attach these two together, I did use dimensionals to pop that up a little bit. So I'm going to use the dimensionals on my foil. Just grab a new sheet here. Carolyn, I was asking if you had any snow there.
Oh, no, I don't have any snow. The grass is green.
No. We've had snow, but it melted, and yeah, the grass is kind of green again too. Funny.
It is.
Yeah, I took my take your pick tool out here somewhere for these backings because they sometimes just don't want to come off.
Yeah. I love using the take your pick tool for all kinds of things, but that's a great use of it.
Yeah. Get some off, stick it in there, and way to go. So I'm just going to center this on here. And since I'm not wrapping the ribbon around, I don't have to worry about that. And I'm going to stamp. So I'll get my Tahitian Tide ink pad. I'm going to do my greeting first of all on this little strip. Make sure I'm in the picture here. Yay, no halos.
Oh, that's great.
And while I'm stamping, I'm going to stamp my inside piece. And I just stamped a little, I didn't show the inside, but I stamped a little mitten on the inside.
Oh, I can't see.
Oh, sorry. There
that's
we go.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Oh, I love that little mitten. So cute.
Yeah, and that's from the Celebrate with Tags set.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I use it has dies as well. And I love these Celebration Tags dies. I'm going to make some tags, I think, for some gifts for Christmas with these ones.
Oh,
and
that's a good idea.
Snowflake too. I was going to put the snowflake in there, but I didn't want to overdo it. So now I stamped 2 other mittens and used those dies. There's 2 sheets in here. Let me just... I
know, look out.
Yeah. So this one has the mitten to cut out.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's
and a balloon for birthday, hearts, candles. Yeah. and 2 different tags. And then it's got the banner and a circle stitched and a rectangle stitched.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's like little dots. Yeah, so it's really cute. Lots of good options with that one. So I pre-stamped my mittens and cut them out so it wouldn't take us as long. And now I just want to stamp my greeting inside while I've got my ink pad open. And I'm using from the Christmas to Remember stamp set, which is the one we used last week with the pine cones, Carolyn.
Oh, okay.
Friends like you make this season special.
Oh, that's a nice sentiment.
Like you were just talking about too, because that would have shown up well with that. But we're all light blue today.
There you go.
So this one, I just took my snips. Where did I put my snips? Thought I took them out there. Misplaced them. So I just angle cut freehand like this and tried to line it up similar. Whoops, sorry, off camera again. I have my camera tilted a little bit up, I think.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I just didn't want to go over my table.
Yeah.
And this one I used dimensionals as well. But before I did, I put the mittens on and I just used, I think originally I used glue dots on them, but I'm just going to use a little bit of Stampin' Seal. This is actually the Stampin' Seal Plus, but and I layered them kind of like this. So they're a little bit over the edge.
So you can see both.
Yeah.
I'm wearing mittens now because it's chilly when we go for a walk at night. And
yeah.
they've got a picture of Newfoundland, like the outline of Newfoundland on the back instead of a snowflake.
Oh, nice. That's
I know,
cute.
I love them.
Very nice.
They're so cute.
Someone from Newfoundland must have sent those to you, did they?
Oh, yes. It was a Christmas present last year from Mom. I think she bought, Mom knits, but I think she bought these at a craft fair.
Oh, did she? I was going to say, did she make? Sorry.
Yeah.
Usually that goes off on my watch and I can stop it. So for some reason, it's just going off on my phone, of course, because I'm using my phone.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I had that one a little bit to the right because I wanted to put the, and I just noticed my other one I had a little bit higher, but that's okay. I'll put the bow on there. So the good thing with the dimensionals is if you don't push them down too hard, you can jiggle it around a little bit before
That's
you
true.
stick them.
Yeah. They're not really stuck until you give them that extra push.
Yeah. The Tahitian tied ribbon. I always tie my ribbon when it's still in the roll. Carolyn, do you do that or do you cut it off?
I do. No, usually. Well, it depends on the type of bow. If
Yeah.
it's one of those double or triple bows,
I'll
kind of measure it out and then cut it off.
Yeah.
Because you need both ends. But if
right.
it's just a single, I can do it like that, the way you do it.
I try to do that to save a little bit of ribbon.
Yeah, for sure. Waste not, want not.
That's right. And then I put a glue dot on the back and I don't know what I've done with my glue dots. So I'm using my paper pumpkin glue dots.
Oh,
I think
use it all.
I use them in a class and I think I have another pack on order, but I don't know if they got misplaced in the class or they're just
used up maybe.
Maybe.
Unless it was a new pack.
And I didn't notice. No, it wasn't. It was almost done. So it's probably just got used up. There we go. And then
that's so pretty.
Inside, let's just stick this down. And usually I use the liquid glue Tombow for the insides, but that was there. So
I know. And I liked how you just put on the corners because that is a really strong adhesive.
It is. Yeah. You definitely don't need to cover the whole thing.
No, absolutely not.
So I'm trying to line it up as best I can because it really bugs me when I have it crooked.
Yeah, I know.
There we go. So there's the
Oh,
original and then the new. I think
that's
they
so
both look
pretty.
cute, eh?
They're both really cute. Totally adorable.
Oh, just because this vellum is gone doesn't mean you can't do it. Oh, I forgot my rhinestones, Carolyn.
Oh, yeah. The rhinestones on your mittens.
Yeah. Always got to have a little bit of bling. I think about you when I do that because I know how much you love glitter and bling.
I do. I love it.
I do too. I can't wear some kind of glitter or bling on it.
I know. It's not fully dressed unless you get your
Right.
earrings on. So you got to put your
Absolutely.
rhinestones and glitter on your projects too.
I'm with you 100%. Here we go.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh.
Adorable. I love it. Okay, let me see. Just going to get us back now. I'm going to try.
There we go.
Here we go. Well, that was episode 6, everybody.
All right.
I think we did okay, Janice.
Yeah, I think so. Yep. It was good.
Yeah. Have you heard back from anyone who are watching our videos?
Yeah, I've had a couple of my customers say they watched them and liked it. So
yeah,
and a couple
me too.
They're not on Facebook, so they like watching on YouTube. So that's
okay,
good.
That's awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
So let us know when you watch.
Definitely.
Send us those comments and likes and subscribe to those pages so that we know you want this content put out there, and we'll keep making these videos. I think we'll do it anyway, but it's more fun if we know you're watching.
And send it to your crafty friends. Send them the link, and
that's right. Share it and
many people watching, and we love to share. So if someone gets inspiration from it, that's awesome.
Exactly. And let us know what you're making out there so we can learn from you too.
Sure. Yeah. And if you trust the cards that we've made, we'd love to see it.
Absolutely. Yep. Reach out to us on Facebook or through the YouTube channels and let us know what you're making. And if you've been inspired by us, let us know by subscribing. Thanks so much. And we'll be back soon with episode 7.
Hey, thanks everyone.
Bye,
thanks, Carolyn. Bye.
Bye. See you next time, Janice. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.